Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Skyline Park in Brookline, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity girls soccer contest between the visiting Flyers of Framingham High School and the hosting Brookline High Warriors. Today is senior day, everybody. Last home game of the regular season for Brookline. And they are using it to celebrate their senior class of 2025. Those senior members include number 4, Ashley Sherwin, number 9, McKenna Hammond, number 11, Nora Shue, number 15, Babette Hall, number 17, Greta Radke, number 18, Anna Leshley, number 23, Vilena Chernichev, number 26, Sydney Fries, and number 38, Julia Sherwin. So this should be a nice and special one here today. We've actually got some special treats throughout this broadcast. I've been given some fun facts about the seniors. I'm going to give those throughout the broadcast as we go. Wherever I find the time, or if I just end up giving them all in bulk during halftime, we're gonna play it by ear. We're gonna have some fun. And as always, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Esch Dental, located right in Coolidge Corner. Book your next dental appointment with local dentist and BHS sports parent Dr. Brandon Esch for the non-corporate personalized dentistry our community deserves. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to easchdental.com. You can find that link and phone number in the description section of the video down below, where you can also find a link to the official Venmo account of the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club, which supports all 6 Brookline High soccer teams, girls and boys, varsity, JV, and freshmen. 2 teams huddling up. They're going to get this one started soon, so I'm going to run the intro video, and then we'll be getting this one underway from Skyline Park, Warriors versus Flyers. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and you are watching Brookline High Soccer. Gets around the last one, charging and shot, scores! A big chance for Gallivan, turns around, shot blocked by Kesselman. Kimbrough sending one forward for Vianello. Vianello charging in, Vianello scores! Okay, we'll soon be taking the field for this one. I don't think I'll have time to read out the full rosters for both teams, but I can tell you this is the second match between these Bay State Conference opponents. Back on September 17, they played a game out in Framingham. Brookline got the win, their first win of the season actually back then. 4-0 victory over Framingham, with all goals coming from seniors that day. Sydney Fries had a hat trick and Anna Leshley had 1 goal. So we'll see how things play out in this one. Brookline coming into this one with a 6-6-3 overall record, but with the highest strength of schedule in MIAA Division I. They come in ranked 6th in the MIAA Division I power rankings that came out Tuesday morning. Framingham, meanwhile, a record of 6-7-2, ranked 17th in the most recent power rankings. Framingham is coming off of a 1-0 victory over Waltham back on earlier this their most recent game, and that win did snap an 0-3-1 stretch with that featured losses to Newton North, Natick, and Needham. Brookline coming off a win against the Newton North Tigers, 4-1 on Monday. So Brookline riding pretty high, getting back to 500. They're hoping to improve to a winning record. Brookline's had such an interesting season in terms of, I mentioned their high strength of schedule. 7 of Brookline's 15 games so far this regular season have come against teams that are currently ranked in the top 5 in the MIAA Division I power rankings. Against those top 5 opponents, Brookline has gone 0-5-2, so no wins, 5 losses, and 2 draws. But against everyone else, everyone ranked below them in the power rankings, Brookline is 6-1-1, 6 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. And now they're facing a lower-ranked team today, a team they've beaten once before. So on paper, a strong advantage for Brookline, but we don't play these games on paper. We play them out here on the pitch. So we'll see if the Flyers are able to bring a stronger fight or if Brookline is able to celebrate again today as they honor their seniors. No scoreboard clock out here at Skyline, but we do have a fresh 40 minutes on the clock for the first half. Framingham getting the opening possession, number 14, Aranza Ramirez at midfield, getting ready to get us underway. And here we go. Underway as Framingham immediately boots it down to the Brookline end, but it's going to bounce all the way to one of our seniors being honored today, the goalie number 38, Julia Cherwin. Cherwin punts this one towards midfield, deflects off the head of Anna Leshley, out of bounds. Framingham setting up to throw it in. Number 3, Sophia Carney from our blind spot on the near side around midfield. But you can see the ball fly in there as it's headed back by another senior, number 11, Nora Shue. Now Leshley boots it upfield, and it's deflecting up in the air a couple of times. They're trying to find it, and it's knocked forward by Ashley Cherwin. McKenna Hammond racing in. Hammond trying to fight through, collides with a defender, and no call, as that was briefly blocked by number 20, Priscilla Hill, and knocked out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for the Flyers. Great leading pass by number 4, Ashley Cherwin, as number 9, McKenna Hammond was crashing to the net for that, but got sandwiched between a couple of defenders. The goal kick from Framingham goes off the head of Leshley again, and we've got a hit in the back against Framingham's number 11, Lexi Sullivan, as she collided with Brookline's number 20, Priscilla Hill. So this is going to be a free kick for Brookline. Number 29, Mirabelle Kesselman, lining up for this one. Kesselman sends it towards the box, deflects off a freeze. Leshley just whiffs on the shot, and it's cleared out by Framingham. A couple of near misses there for Brookline already as Kesselman kicks this one back in. Going to fly way down the near side, be chased down by Sydney Freeze, number 26. Freeze dribbling in along the baseline, pass across, just skips away from Leshley and is cleared out. Brookline generating a lot of pressure early as this is a battle for the ball, kicked away by number 22, Jazzy Castaneda. And it's going to roll out of bounds and be Brookline ball. Shue throws it in to Ashley Cherwin, rolls through, gets to Freeze, tap back to Shue. In our blind spot, Shue tries to slide up the near side, but rolls out of bounds. You guys can probably hear through my mic, we got some stiff winds out here at Skyline, up here on the hill. So we're probably going to hear that throughout, and it might disrupt at times our Wi-Fi connection, as it looks like we're cutting out for the moment video-wise. Hope the audio is coming through okay. As always, I'm recording these as I'm live streaming it, so we'll have full video one way or another. Freeze tries to tap it forward, but disrupted. Hammond battling for the ball again, but again, too many white jerseys. It's knocked out of bounds, and it's going to stay Brookline ball. Throw in from Shue up to Hammond. Hammond cutting towards the middle, ball deflected away and taken by the Flyers. This one flips over to the Brookline side of the field as one of the seniors, number 15, Babette Hall, sends it back to Sherwin. Sherwin pass out to Kesselman. Kesselman surveying, kicks one up the middle, and it's knocked down, but couldn't quite corral it fully. Now knocked away, but right to Leshley. Leshley sends it back to Hall. Hall kicks it, intercepted by number 3, Carney. Carney running up with it, pass across, and it's knocked away from Castaneda by Kesselman. Freeze keeps it in bounds on the near side and now passes it up for Hammond. Hammond dribbling, trying to gain the edge. Stops, looks, fires, blocked, gets it back, pass back to Freeze. Whoops, Freeze has it. Freeze turns around, shot was deflected and couldn't quite get enough on it. Sorry about that, trying to operate the camera that's 10 feet up in the air, and sometimes it can be a little tough figuring out exactly what position I need to be at. Framingham keeper punts it, deflects down, and it's tapped back upfield by Shu. Leshley waiting for it. Leshley now taking off with it, taps it to the outside. Freeze. Freeze charging in, trying to gain the edge, stops, looking, tries to tap it back, but it's not there. Taken away by number 5, Ava Lombardo. Lombardo's kick knocked out of bounds by Freeze. So Brookline in clear advantage in the possession battle so far, as that one lost by Castaneda out of bounds. And so Brookline gets the throw in here. Shu throws to Freeze. Freeze lost it out of bounds. Framingham ball. Wind really gusting out here at Skyline today, as this throw-in deflects out of bounds, stays Framingham ball. No score yet here in the first half. Brookline's had a couple near misses as Carney throws this one in, knocked away by Shu. And it's up to Hammond. Hammond tried to tap one across, and it is taken briefly by Ashley Sherwin, but now taken back by Ramirez. Pass up to Castaneda, outside Lombardo. Lombardo bringing it up the near sideline, knocked out of bounds by Shu. We got a sub checking in for Framingham now, replacing Jazzy Castaneda. Can't quite see the jersey number, just waiting for her to turn. I think that's number 18, Natalie Peck. Near side throw in from Carney. Deflects off the head of Ramirez, and it's lost out of bounds, and it's going to be a Brookline goal kick. As Julia Sherwin lines up for her first goal kick of the day, we'll read out one of Julia's fun facts. In the summer of 2022, Julia hiked 182 miles in Maine and New Hampshire. Her favorite hike was Tuckerman's Ravine Trail to the summit of Mount Washington. Fascinating little fun fact there. We're going to get a few of those as we go along. I'm going to be looking for breaks in the action to do that, because clearly things move pretty fast in soccer. I won't be able to get things going otherwise. Battling on the near side for it, Carney. Dribbling towards the middle for Framingham, as Framingham starting to generate a lengthy possession here. Pass goes across to number 15, Georgia Murphy. Murphy heading down the far side, trying to gain the edge. Tried to get a pass through, but not much room. It's kicked away by Kesselman, out of bounds. Framingham ball. Defending Murphy down the sideline there was another one of Brookline's seniors, number 17, Greta Radke, as this throw-in is going to bounce too far and go out of bounds. The wind is blowing, I think, towards the Framingham side of the field. You know, and it can be, when choosing which side of the field to play from, it can be an advantage to have the wind blowing from behind you, you know, get that tailwind, so to speak. But sometimes teams will find it more advantageous to get that tailwind in the second half as opposed to the first. That ball lost out of bounds. Framingham ball again. Carney to throw in. Off a couple bounces, Shu taps it up to Freeze. Freeze, looking around, gives it back to Shu along the sideline. Shu blocked, kicked away by Lombardo, but right to number 23, Velena Chernychev, who kicks it out of bounds. Carney throws it in. Deflects back to Hall, who again boots it out of bounds. Throw in goes to Lombardo, taps it back to Carney. Carney tries to pass forward, but just misses, kicked away by Kesselman. Knocked back by number 20, Ava Callahan. And now taken back by Brookline, briefly knocked out of bounds away from Hill. It'll be Brookline ball. Throw in for Leshley. Leshley dribbling, sends it across to Freeze. Freeze cuts around, looking, extra pass. Leshley breaking through. Leshley taps it in. Anna Leshley with the first goal of senior day. Let's take a look at that one again. Great coordination between two of the senior co-captains, Sydney Freeze and Anna Leshley. Freeze jukes, decides to go for the extra pass, and Leshley just wide open breaking through as that one goes off the post. She almost missed that. That would have been rough if she had missed it, though. She might have been able to crash for the putback. But either way, first goal of the day, Anna Leshley assisted by Sydney Freeze. That one knocked out of bounds. For Leshley, that is her third goal of the season. The first that I've been around to see, which I am definitely happy about, but her third goal of the season, 27th goal of her career, while Sydney Freeze gets her fourth assist of the season, 12th helper of her career. So 1-0 now, the Brookline advantage, as this throw-in deflects out of bounds. Another throw-in. Left for Leshley. Leshley taps it forward. Callahan downs it, kicks it for Carney, and tangled up with Leshley as they call the foul. Excuse me, they call the foul on Leshley. And that'll be a free kick for the Flyers. This one kicked upfield, gets up to Ramirez. Ramirez taps it back to Carney, sends it up the line, kicked away by Shu. Towards midfield, Hammond touches it over to Freeze. Freeze sends it back to Shu. Shu back up to Freeze. Freeze looking around, pass towards the middle, finds Leshley. Leshley keeps it despite the defensive pressure and gets tripped up there, and that'll be a foul call. Okay, I'm going to try and turn this a little better. There we go. That should help me track things a little bit better, I think. Free kick from Hall. Flies upfield, deflects, and out of bounds. And that will be a Brookline throw-in. Shu looking around. Up the line, Hammond from the corner. Hammond kicks one towards the box. And a whistle blown. I think they called another foul on Leshley there, as she was trying to battle in the box for that ball. Free kick from Callahan. Towards the middle, goes off the head of Ramirez, and she gets hit in the back by Leshley. Another free kick for Framingham. Callahan coming up across midfield, or right to midfield for this free kick. She's going to have the wind behind her. It'll be interesting to see what they do with this one as she launches it towards the box, headed away by Leshley. Now off the head of Hill, but she lost sight of it. It's taken back by Framingham's number 11, but knocked away by Hill and booted upfield by Radke. Off the deflection, chased down again by Framingham's number 11, Lexi Sullivan. Battling for the ball along the far side rather. And they get it up to number 2, Angelina Partain. Partain, since the pass does get through. Touch back, long shot, and it's well wide. I think the wind might have caught that one as we got a wind blowing towards us on the near side. So I think that one might have curved it just a smidge. So Julia Cherwin not being tested yet. Framingham hasn't gotten any shots on goal. Brookline already with the 1-goal advantage off the score from Anna Leshley, assisted by Sydney Fries. Cherwin boots it up, bouncing along, and some ricochets out of bounds. And it's Framingham ball. And we're going to get a push in the back called on Radke as Framingham sets up for another free kick. We got ourselves a beautiful day despite the gusting winds. It's been very warm all week despite this being the last week of the fall regular season. Usually it's much colder by now. As this free kick flies into the box, headed away, I think, by Chernychev. Carney swoops in to deflect that one, but it goes off her hand, and that's going to be a handball and a free kick for Brookline. And Brookline looks like they're going to have Babette Hall set up for the free kick and launch it up fast for Fries. Fries looking around. Dribbling, and it's stolen away by number 12, who I didn't have on my roster. And anyway, Ramirez passes it back to Callahan. Callahan kicks it upfield. Murphy battling towards midfield, passes back to Callahan. Callahan's pass across midfield and stolen away from Partain by Fries. Fries kicks it upfield. Wind catches that one and stops it in its tracks as Callahan boots it across. Hall chases it down, sends it back to Cherwin. Cherwin got to get rid of it fast. She does, gets it back to Hall. Hall sends it upfield for Fries. Fries gives it back to Leshley. Now over to Kesselman. Kesselman, one of, I think, just 2 non-seniors out on the field right now, along with Priscilla Hill, as she passed it up to McKenna Hammond. Sent back to Radke now. Radke up the line. Hill tried to knock it down and keep it in, but could not, as that one's going to go out of bounds and be Framingham ball. Whoa! There's a big gust of wind as that one is going to go out of bounds, and yeah, I think the wind's been tilting the camera a bit at times, which has been rough, as Kesselman smartly knocks that one out the sideline to prevent a corner kick. But note to the fans, as always, I encourage audience participation. So if there's anything you'd like to say, any shout-outs you'd like to give, particularly to your favorite senior players, then I encourage you to do so in the live chat. This throw in, Ramirez taps it back, and Radke smartly kicks it out of bounds. Framingham throws it in. It's tapped back, now sliced up in the air towards the box. Headed a couple of times, and it's just going to slowly bounce to the waiting hands of Julia Cherwin. Whoa! This one goes upfield. Leshley passes back. Kesselman boots it upfield. And we got a whistle blown called offsides. It'll be a free kick for Framingham now. Callahan setting up to kick this one. Upfield. Couple deflections. Shu corrals it, kicks it away. And it gets up to Hill. And an over the back foul against Framingham. They're going to set up Kesselman to take this free kick. Sends it up for Leshley. Leshley dribbling. Breaking through. Pass to an open Freeze. Freeze heading down the near side. Cutting back. Looking. Battling one-on-one with her defender. Gains the edge. Crosser coming in, and it's walled off and sliced out of bounds. Great advance by Sydney Freeze. As Brookline sets up for the corner kick, a fun fact about Sydney Freeze, Sydney has watched The Parent Trap and Cheaper by the Dozen movies each over 20 times. As she sets up for the corner kick here. Sends this one in, headed down, but it's going to go right back to Freeze. Freeze dribbling into the box. Trying to cut around. Crosser knocked in again! Anna Leshley! The Freeze to Leshley connection going strong out here at Skyline. The second goal for Leshley, second assist for Freeze. You can see Freeze just did good work. One-on-one against her defender, cut towards the baseline, sent one, and then Leshley just crashing to the net. Smart there as we've got a timeout called by Framingham. 2-0, the Brookline advantage off of 2 goals by Anna Leshley, both assisted by Sydney Freeze. And with that, a fun fact, some fun facts about Anna Leshley now during this timeout. Anna is the youngest of 3 sisters and 17 cousins on both sides of the family. She is half Danish, and her best friends are her grandparents, Grammy and Pocky Riva in New Jersey. So, shout out to Anna's grandparents in New Jersey. Hope you guys are able to watch. I know the Wi-Fi connection's not great, but I hope the audio is at least coming through strong. And I'll give an additional fun fact myself as Anna and Sydney have another factoid in common, aside from the fact that they're both senior captains and both 4-year varsity players. They are also both younger siblings of players that I covered back when I first started covering this team back in 2020. Anna and Sydney's older sisters, Hope Leshley and Kendall Freeze, were in their junior year, so I actually got to cover their senior day game. Kendall actually scored in her senior day game all the way back in 2021, back when this senior class was just freshmen. And fun fact, that same senior day also produced the first career goal for Vilena Chernichev back in 2021. And with that, a fun fact about Vilena Chernichev. Outside of soccer, Vilena plays the guitar and is really good at embroidery and woodwork. So what all that says to me is that she's really skilled with her hands, and so naturally the sport she picked is soccer. But hey, you can't question the choice of sport, as Vilena, another 4-year varsity player and co-captain of this Brookline High girls soccer team. Chernichev, Leshley, and Freeze have all played all 4 years at the varsity level for this Brookline High team. As we come out of the timeout, Brookline up 2-0. 2 goals from Leshley, both assisted by Freeze. As this one is booted upfield, is going to fly out of bounds. We got a couple subs, a couple of non-senior subs that have come in for Brookline as they get ready for the goal kick. Number 12, Jamie McGee into the game, replacing Nora Shue. And number 21, Lila Cannon into the game. I believe she's replacing Ashley Cherwin. Hall sends it up to Cannon, out to McGee. McGee to Chernychev, back out to McGee. McGee passes out of traffic to Cannon. Cannon sends one up to McKenna Hammond, now back to Leshley. Leshley kicks one upfield, racing upfield for it, deflects forward, still chasing, Hill taps it, and oh, McKenna Hammond couldn't quite get there as it's covered up by the Framingham netminder. Great rush upfield by Priscilla Hill and McKenna Hammond. Great leading pass by Anna Leshley. The extra pass that I mentioned on that first goal by Leshley from Freeze, the extra pass paid off perfectly, but sometimes you just do one pass too many, and I think I can understand why Hill would go for the pass in that situation, kind of a limited angle for a shot, easier for the goalie to cover. You know, try and go for a pass closer to the middle. But the goalie able to cut off that pass and prevent the potential score there. Throw in Carney, deflects down, Freeze, wins the battle, sends it forward, Hammond cuts back again, kicks it into the box and nowhere near where someone could take it, and it's picked up easily by the goalie. Goalie punts this one off the head of Chernychev. It goes up to Hill. Hill taps it forward, gets to Hammond. Hammond dribbling back, passes it over to not Radke. That is another sub that's checked in, number 3, Elin Lindgren-Palm, as they now work it across the back line. Hall kicks it up to Freeze. Freeze, pass back, McGee to the middle, Chernychev. Chernychev sends it all the way back to Julia Cherwin. Cherwin out to Kesselman. Kesselman trying to dribble up with it, but she's being cut off. And it's taken away by Lombardo, but taken back by Leshley. Leshley across the middle, sends it back to Hall. Hall, near side, knocked away by Carney. But a scrum for the ball ensues. No whistle, play still live as Carney sends that one back to Callahan. Callahan's pass, knocked away, stolen by Hammond. Hammond coming up the far side. Surveying her options, help defense coming. Hammond jukes, kicks one into the box. A slow roller, Hill trying to fight for it. Knocked out of bounds, and it will be a corner kick. Great job keeping up the forward pressure by Priscilla Hill to force the defender to knock that one out of bounds along the back line. And it looks like they're sending out Elin Lindgren-Palm to take this corner kick from the far side. Lindgren-Palm, a lefty kicker. Sends this one in a little low. Leshley tried to head it and missed just wide. Boy, can you imagine if Leshley gets a hat trick before halftime? That would be insane. I mean, she's almost there. She only needs one more. Goal kick coming up now for Framingham. This one flies upfield, goes off the head of Freeze. Battle for the ball. And Hammond comes out with it. Pass back Kesselman. Kesselman kick blocked. Recovered by Chernychev. Sends it back to Lindgren-Palm. Back to Chernychev. Chernychev back to Lindgren-Palm. They slide it all the way back to Cherwin. Cherwin's got to come out and kick it away. Down the far side, Hill fighting for it. Hill comes out with it. pass up to Cannon. Now knocked away by the defense, but it's recovered by Leshley. Goes back to Chernychev. Now forward to Cannon. Cannon looking around. Boots one. And it's just going to bounce harmlessly into the hands of the Framingham keeper. Keeper punts it. Headed down by Leshley. Goes up to Hammond. Hammond sends it back. Kesselman over to Hall. Hall looking, her kick blocked by Lombardo. And Lombardo passed it away, and now Framingham tries to go on a rush. Leading kick just barely deflected away by Chernychev as Lombardo is streaking after that one. That one is going to roll all the way across the field to the sideline. And so that is going to be a throw-in for Framingham. Some more subs checking in for Brookline. Number 13, Julia Vianello. Number 19, Jada Kimbrough. And number 7, Amalia Lindgren-Palm. They're going to replace Sydney Fries, McKenna Hammond, and Priscilla Hill. Nice to see Amalia Lindgren-Palm back out there. I believe she suffered an injury of, I don't know if it was her wrist or her arm or something, but she was, you know, in a sling for a little while watching from the benches. Now she's back out there. Still got a bit of a cast on her arm, but minimal cast, as that's going to be out of bounds. Brookline ball. Or no, it was a foul as Kimbrough got tripped up there. Free kick is coming from Hall from our blind spot here. Sends it flying up off the head of Leshley, and they're going to call the push in the back on Ramirez, and Brookline's going to get a golden chance with the free kick here. After her free kick, let's find out some fun facts about Babette Hall. Babette's first words were full sentences, long sentences. And also, Babette was once short and muscular when she was the queen of the monkey bars. And that is funny to think about, given that Hall is now one of the tallest players on the team. Chernychev lining up for the free kick. Chernychev launches that one in the wind, catches that one, I think, and lifts it way high and over the bar. Callahan takes the goal kick here. Couple of head deflections, and they're going to call a foul on Brookline. Based on the spot, looks like they called the foul on Leshley. Leshley plays a physical game, and she has been called for a few fouls already today. But she has also been the only goal scorer from either side so far as Brookline leads 2-0. That one deflects out of bounds, stays Framingham ball. Throw in. And the kick deflects off a face there, and Hall forced to kick it out of bounds, stays Framingham ball. Throw in from Partain. Deflects out of bounds off, I think, number 16, Nina Tidjin-Lemon, who was covered by McGee on that play. Quickly move the goal kick upfield. Bounces all the way down to Callahan. Callahan gets a pass across to Carney. Carney kicks it. Stopped by McGee and recovered by Chernychev. Chernychev opts to send it back to Cherwin. Cherwin over to Hall. Hall up to Kimbrough. And now taken away by Carney. Carney's pass to the middle. Kesselman kicks That one across Hall. Sorry, big gust of wind. I was worried my laptop was going to be blown over as this one goes out of bounds. Framingham ball once again. Throw in tapped back. Partain tries to kick it into the box, but well boxed out by the Brookline defense, and Hall kicks it away. Ramirez disrupted by Kimbrough, but it is recovered, sent back to Carney. Carney sends it out near side, misses Partain as I think the wind caught that one out of bounds. And we got some more subs checking in for Brookline. Number 6, Paige Hammond, and number 22, Eva Berkson into the game, replacing Leshley and Chernychev. Couple deflections back and forth off the throw-in. Carney couldn't quite get it through Kimbrough, and Carney goes down hurt. And I think we might have an injury stoppage here. Carney is up on her feet, but I think what happened is she got the wind knocked out of her. That was a hard collision, and when the ball deflects up around the midsection and your opponent is still trying to play the ball, as you know naturally one would do, sometimes you just get a hard collision. You might get like a knee to the stomach or something, you know, and it looks like Carney, tough kid, just gonna walk it off. Happy to see that she appears to be okay. Now McGee throwing it in from the near sideline. Kicked back by Carney. Goes up to Lemon. Lemon pass back to number 6, Madison Steenberg. Steenberg sends it back to Callahan. Callahan sends it out far side, headed forward. Hall boxes out as Sherwin covers it up to keep it away from a crashing Ava Lombardo. Sherwin boots it. It's knocked back and forth. And now we've got a foul call against, I believe, Vianello. And it's going to be Framingham ball. Callahan boots it. That one almost touched Lemon's hand, but she stays with it. Pass for Ramirez. Now stolen away as Kimbrough picks her pocket. Pass across Berkson. Berkson's kick blocked by Ramirez, but recovered by, I believe, Paige Hammond. Hammond sends it up to Cannon. Cannon out to the far side to Elin Lindgren-Palm. Got to specify now, both Lindgren-Palm sisters are out on the field now. Elin Lindgren-Palm sends it across to Hall. Hall boots it upfield, deflects, back and forth, and it goes to Vianello. Vianello trying to race up the far side, gets tripped up. And what's the call going to be? Is it going to be just a corner kick? I think that's just going to be a corner kick. That was very close and dangerous by the Framingham defense. Got to be careful not to commit any fouls in the box, or that leads to a PK chance. They're going to send out Elin Lindgren-Palm for this corner kick. This one comes in low, kicked back out. Off the deflection, a hard collision, and that's going to be a foul call against Framingham. It'll give Brookline a free kick chance just outside the box. Going to be a bit of a tough spot for Mirabel Kesselman to kick from. Although it might be far out enough that she can get the rainbow trajectory she needs for a shot. She's going to try, and it's going to sail high. And you see, that's what I mean. You got to get the shot to go in an upward trajectory to get over the wall of defenders, but then it's also got to have enough room to then curve down into that downward trajectory to get under the crossbar. And that's what makes those close free kicks so tough to shoot on. And that's why sometimes it's better to get those short-range free kicks from more of a sideways angle so you can go for something more akin to a corner kick. As we got another foul called for the push in the back against Kimbrough. Callahan setting up for the free kick. Sends it way upfield. Couple players racing after it. Lombardo does manage to keep it in bounds, and Hall has to knock it out along the near sideline. Good efforts by Ava Lombardo. Throw in towards the box. Lombardo kicks it back. Gets to Carney. Carney. Oh, we got a foul call against McGee for the push. You got to be careful when the officials see the arm extension. You know, it's like pass interference rules in football. When you see the arm extension, you call a foul. That's what officials are trained to do. So this is going to be very much like a corner kick here for the Flyers, as Ava Lombardo setting up to kick this one. Flies in, deflects up, dangerous chance, and it missed is wide. Biggest scoring chance Framingham has had so far today. I think Sherwin was able to get her hands on that initial deflection, but that was bouncing dangerously close to the net, and Sherwin just barely able to seal off that near side post as the follow-up deflection bounced just wide of the net. Sherwin's goal kick flies up to Cannon. Cannon's pass blocked, taken away by the Flyers. And we've got another foul call against Brookline, as this has been a very physical game. It's going to be another free kick for Framingham. Number 11, Sullivan? No, is that Callahan taking this one? I'm not sure. Booted towards the box, off the head of Kesselman and out. Being chased down, and McGee kicks it and gets the favorable deflection as that bounces off the body of Natalie Peck. Throw in from McGee, knocked out by Peck again. Oh, no, it bounced off her hand, so before it's a throw-in, it's actually going to be a free kick. And Hall kicks this one upfield, goes off the head of Carney, and they're going to call Kimbrough for another push. As again, just a bit of the arm extension, you know, and they're going to call that one. Callahan setting up for the free kick. Upfield it goes. And did they call a foul or a handball again, or is it just out of bounds? Just out of bounds. McGee throws it in for Kimbrough. Kimbrough. Pass to the middle to Kesselman. Kesselman with some space to dribble. Now boots it upfield, deflected down. Amalia Lindgren-Palm tried to take it, but it's deflected away. They call Lindgren-Palm for the foul. I'm not sure I agree with that one, but I always say, even if you disagree with the call, you have to respect that it is the official's job to make it. And so that one flies upfield, knocked back by Brookline, gets up to Kimbrough. Knocked back by the defense, but recovered by Hammond. Pass to the near side, intercepted now by Peck. And that is halftime. At the half, the score, Brookline 2, Framingham 0. Both of Brookline's goals coming from Anna Leshley, both of them assisted by Sydney Freeze. The seniors eating good today here in the first half as we take a quick look at the replay of the second goal from Freeze to Leshley, as the two connected well on that baseline pass. I mentioned before, but for Leshley, that is now her counts for her third and fourth goals of the season and her 27th and 28th career goals, while for Freeze, her fourth and fifth assists of the season, 12th and 13th career assists. During this halftime break, I remind you this broadcast is brought to you in part by Esch Dental, located right in Coolidge Corner. Book your next dental appointment with local dentist and BHS Sports parent Dr. Brandon Esch for the non-corporate personalized dentistry our community deserves. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to eashdental.com. You can find all that down in the description section down below, where you can also find a link down in the description section to the official Venmo account of the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club, which supports all 6 Brookline High soccer teams, girls and boys, varsity, JV, and freshmen. And you can also find a link and phone number for our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Community Foundation. The Brookline Community Foundation has been for over 100 years, the Brookline Community Foundation has been a trusted partner, supporting Brookline by investing in organizations and initiatives that help create opportunity and promote equity for everyone who lives, learns, works, and plays in our community. Among the foundation's many grant programs is the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School, which provides graduating BHS students with scholarships to help fund post-secondary education. To date, through the first 10 years of this scholarship fund, they have raised about $1.5 million to support graduating BHS students. Your help is crucial to supporting these Brookline youth as they embark on the next steps in their educational journeys. Visit brooklinecommunity.org or call 617-566-4442 to learn more about the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School and how you can make a difference right here in Brookline. Once again, 617-566-4442 or go online to brooklinecommunity.com. brooklinecommunity.org. Check out the description section. You'll get the proper link down there. And since we're in the middle of halftime, let's have a little more fun. Let's go over some more senior fun facts here. You know, we mentioned three of the Brookline co-captains. We mentioned the fun facts about Anna, Valena, and Sydney. Now let's round it out with the fourth co-captain, McKenna Hammond. Fun fact about McKenna: McKenna was a very good dancer, but eventually dropped it to focus on soccer. She maintains that if she had stayed a dancer, she would have wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. And you know, as a Patriots fan, I could call traitor for wanting to be a cheerleader for a different team, but honestly, I know what New England falls and winters are like, this day not included, obviously, and so I can't really judge too hard about wanting to escape those New England winters if you wanted to work as a cheerleader for a football team. I respect it. We mentioned during the first half how Julia Cherwin, a hiker who once hiked 182 miles in the summer of 2022 across Maine and New Hampshire, and her favorite hike was Tuckerman's Ravine Trail to the summit of Mount Washington. I love to hear that. My younger brother actually used to be a big hiker up in New Hampshire, suffered some ACL injuries that kind of put a damper on things, but happy to hear about that. And also Julia Cherwin, an avid skateboarder. So we got a lot of multi-talented seniors here. And speaking of that, let's move to Ashley Cherwin. The other Cherwin sister played JV hockey for 2 years and was co-captain in her second year. And I love seeing that. I love seeing multi-sport athletes. Great way to exercise different muscle groups and prevent overuse injuries. And also, another fun fact about Ashley Cherwin, you may have seen a viral video of Ashley's chemistry-themed cake. It has more than 1.7 million views on YouTube. I'm gonna have to look for that after this. I'm gonna have to look for that. That sounds cool. Next up, Nora Shue. Fun facts about Nora. Nora went to preschool on a farm and is now allergic to horses, cats, pollen, wind, and lakes. You know, I can't necessarily relate to going to preschool on a farm. Can relate to growing up near a farm, as my home neighborhood here in Brookline, where I grew up, was right near Allendale Farm. And I can definitely relate to being allergic to a lot of things. And another fun fact about Nora Shue, she is a night owl and likes to stay up late watching old favorites like Breakfast Club, Dirty Dancing, and Gilmore Girls. Vibing with the 80s here. I dig it. Next up, Greta Radke. Fun fact about Greta, when Greta was little, she thought the Apple Store she thought the Apple Store sells apples. You know, we all have, you know what? Until someone explains it, how are you supposed to know? That's all I'm going to say. The logo is an apple. I'm in Greta's defense here. Some other fun facts about Greta. Although calm on the outside, Greta is very competitive at board games and cards, including Uno, Mermaid Beach, Moncala, Gin, Skyjo, and Ticket to Ride, to name a few. Can relate. I am whenever my friends have a game night and we break out the board games, I can't help but be competitive myself. Although I will say my card game of choice personally is Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I'm just a nerd like that. But absolutely vibes on the competitive side. You know, that's what we like to see in a student athlete. And on the more student side, Greta can sing the alphabet backwards. We mentioned Babette Hall's fun facts. Her first words were full sentences. Not just full sentences, long sentences. I like that specification there. And then also Babette, who easily one of, if not the tallest member of this Brookline team, was once short and muscular when she was the queen of the monkey bars. You know what they say, they grow up so fast. But those are the fun facts. Thank you to the senior parents for sending along these fun facts. Tons of fun to get to read those and find out more about the seniors. A lot of fun stuff there. It was, it was kind of fun going down memory lane, thinking about back when I covered Anna and Sydney's older sisters for their senior day game, and I'll say, as a kid who grew up in the '90s, it was so fun. In the '90s and the early aughts, it was so funny hearing about Sydney Freeze watching Cheaper by the Dozen over 20 times, because I was in elementary school when the first Steve Martin Cheaper by the Dozen movie came out, and I saw the sequel in theaters. So that one I've watched a bunch, but it's so funny to think about how young these kids must have been back when those movies came out. I mean, I didn't even know that the Steve Martin Cheaper by the Dozen movie was actually a remake. You know, that's such a funny generational thing, isn't it? But we've had some fun. Now I'm going to take a break. Or actually, we're not going to have time for a break. I've taken up the whole of the halftime break with mentioning some fun facts out here, so we're going to go straight to the second half. All right, we set up for the second half here. Brookline now setting up to get us started. McKenna Hammond back in the game at midfield, as we've got our senior rotation back out there as we get things underway. Brookline quickly boots the ball up the near side, and that's going to roll out of bounds and be Framingham ball. Throw in. Framingham booted upfield. Deflects off ahead and out of bounds. They're going to say went off the head of Chernychev, and so it'll be Framingham ball. Throw in again, and I think they called a foul on Radke for the push in the back. Ava Callahan setting up to take this free kick. Deflects off the head of Ava Lombardo forward and goes out of bounds, last touched by Brookline. Lexi Sullivan throws it in. Deflects down, now taken away by Anna Leshley. Pass near side, goes back to Velena Chernychev, sends it back to Mirabel Kesselman, who spins away from the defense of Jazzy Castaneda. Sends one upfield, taken away. Now kicked upfield, gets to McKenna Hammond, who mistimes it there with Priscilla Hill. Out of bounds, Framingham ball again. Sullivan throws it in, tapped back. Sullivan sends it up to Castaneda. Castaneda, pass to the middle to Aranza Ramirez. Knocked away by Hammond, kicked upfield by Chernychev. Hammond touches it along. Chased down by Sullivan, tries to pass it back, and just barely kicked away by Callahan as Leshley was giving chase there. Sullivan sends it up to Ramirez. Ramirez tries a kick, I think collided with Lombardo there, as that one is going to fly out of bounds. Brookline with a 2-0 advantage here in the second half. Both goals scored by Anna Leshley, both assisted by Sydney Freeze. Priscilla Hill tries to get a pass through to Chernychev. A lot of traffic, and it's taken away. But the pass intercepted by Leshley. Leshley thought that Hammond was going to cut a different way, and so that pass gets intercepted. Goes up to number 15, Georgia Murphy, but she's cut off by the defense of Greta Radke. Shame it was in our blind spot. That was a nice defensive play as Hall kicks it, but booted right back. Hall being pressured. Hall battling with Castaneda, and Hall stays on her feet. She may not be short anymore, but she is still muscular, which is what you need in a center back, as Babette Hall able to prevent a rush there by Jazzy Castaneda. Punt from Julia Cherwin, collected by Callahan. Passed up to Murphy. Murphy loses it out of bounds, and it's going to be Brookline ball. Throw-in goes to Chernychev. Chernychev slides it across to Hall. Hall upfield, and it's taken by Sophia Carney, who gets hit by McKenna Hammond, and that'll be a foul. Sorry about that. The camera keeps getting blown on its side by the wind, so I have to keep adjusting it. That kick headed away by Leshley. Couple deflections. Bounces along. Hammond tried to get a pass away. It is taken by Sydney Freeze. Freeze sends it out far side. Nora Shue sends it up. Knocked away by number 24, Isabella Seacott. Throw in. And it's lost out of bounds. Framingham ball. This one deflects, and it's kicked away by Hall. Goes all the way back to Sherwin. Sherwin sends it up to Leshley. Leshley dribbling up, stops, cuts towards the middle. Tries to pass forward. It's blocked by, I think, Seacott and kicked up, or no, by Ramirez. Kicked up field. Kicked back by Kesselman. Deflects up to Hammond. Hammond lost her footing there, and it's taken away by number 6, Madison Steenberg. Couple passes, gets to Murphy. Pass back, Sullivan. Sullivan along the near side. Her kick knocked out of bounds by Hill. Framingham ball. Throw in. Headed forward by Kesselman, out of bounds. Sullivan, throw in to Murphy. Pass back, Sullivan. Ooh, that one looked like it went, sounded like it went off the arm of Hill, but they call out of bounds. That one out of bounds. Brookline ball. Radke throws in. And Sullivan is called for a push in the back on Hammond. And whoa, official is talking to some of the Framingham fans here. You don't want to see that. What we are going to see now is a free kick coming from Kesselman. Kesselman sends one in off the head of Leshley, but from too far out. Leshley, one of the best at scoring off headers. As a freshman, she led Brookline with 6 goals in 2021. Almost all of those goals were headers. And of course, that's regular season goals. She actually had one additional postseason goal again off of what else but a header. That's going to be a foul called against Brookline. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I've been covering the senior class for 4 seasons now. I got some fun facts in my own pocket as well. Free kick from Callahan. She slipped and sends up a slow roller. Framingham does keep control of the ball as they try and work it up the far side. Leading pass goes too far, and Shu just watches it roll out of bounds. Passing around. Kesselman boots it upfield. Sullivan. Couple deflections, and Priscilla Hill breaking it up, and they're going to call the push on Murphy. You know, like I said in the first half, it's that the arm, when you see the arm extension. Kesselman takes the free kick. Cross to Hall. Hall over to Radke. Radke back over to Hall. Hall upfield. Freeze corrals it, pass it back to Shu. Shu to Freeze, back to Shu. Taken away by Carney, and they're going to call foul on Chernychev there on that play. Mentioned some statistical fun facts. A statistical fun fact about Vilena Chernychev: she has scored the first goal of the season for Brookline in each of the past 3 seasons, including this one. Brookline knocks that one right back, and now a race for it along the near side. Murphy does keep it in bounds. She's chasing after it, and a hard hit from Greta Radke. And that's going to be a free kick now for the Flyers. Framingham setting up in what looks very similar to a corner kick here. Kick from Lombardo is caught out of the air by Julia Cherwin. Fun fact about Julia Cherwin, she didn't start playing goalie until the summer before her junior season. So she kind of became the team's new starting goalie last year, kind of out of nowhere. But she's filled that hole pretty well. As that takeaway, Hill passes for Hammond, and Hammond's shot sliced out of bounds. Fun fact about McKenna Hammond, she got her first career hat trick in last year's round of 32 state tournament match against Chelmsford in what turned into a 10-0 blowout for Brookline. Off that deflection, Hammond deflects it towards the middle, kicked away by Sullivan. Downed by Chernychev. Chernychev, pass. Hill couldn't quite keep full control, and it's knocked out of bounds by Sullivan. Radke throws it in for Ashley Cherwin, tapped back to Radke. Pass to Chernychev. Chernychev, pass to the middle to Hall, back to Kesselman, who gives it back to Hall, who kind of has to chase after it a bit, but does get a pass out to Shu on the far side. Shu, pass back Hall, who sends it up the line, lost by Shu, out of bounds. Brookline not quite generating the same offensive pressure they did in the first half. They do have a comfortable lead, but you know they would certainly like to get more scores. Off this battle for the ball, a kick is blocked, and Hall corrals it. Hall dribbling, pass up the line, over to Chernychev, and Hall looking around, sends it up the line as Freeze, not much room there, but off the deflection it does get up to Hammond. Hammond's kick kind of blocked. Kesselman tried to corral it. Murphy taps it away. Hall comes in and collides to slow down the advance at least, as Murphy's pass is knocked away by Shu. Freeze and Hammond trying to battle for it. Kicked upfield by Ashley Cherwin. Gets up to Freeze. Freeze taking off with speed as she gets it into Framingham territory. Now stops, taps one forward for Leshley. Leshley from the far side corner. Backing down against her defender. Spins, going baseline, collides with Ramirez. No whistle, and it's kicked out of bounds by the Framingham defense. It'll be a Brookline throw-in. Shu throws it in quick for Freeze, and Freeze lost control of it, out of bounds, goal kick. This goal kick off the head of Leshley, and it bounces out of bounds. This throw in, it's being fought over on the far side. Bit tough to see through some bright sunlight out here at Skyline as the sun's starting to set. Kick into open field is taken by Kesselman. Kesselman sends it, intercepted by Sullivan, but kicked back forward by Ashley Cherwin. Up to Priscilla Hill. Hill stops, pass, slides through almost, but kicked away by Callahan as McKenna Hammond was crashing for that one. This one pot forward and offsides called on Hammond, as she almost had a chance off that leading kick from Kesselman. Still 2-0 in Brookline's favor. No scores from either side in the second half thus far. This kick headed down by Kesselman. And now knocked back. Radke, pass to the middle. It is collected by Leshley. Leshley boots it down the far side. Freeze couldn't quite chase down out of bounds Framingham ball. Substitutions checking in, Elin Lindgren-Palm and Paige Hammond, replacing Greta Radke and Ashley Cherwin. Also Jamie McGee replacing Nora Shue. This throw-in goes off ahead, headed back, now tapped back, gets to Chernychev. Chernychev dribbling, knocked away by Lombardo, but goes up to Freeze. Freeze turns around, sends one forward to Leshley. Leshley, crosser into the box, and it's caught out of the air by the Framingham keeper. This one punted. Goes off a couple heads. And they run out of room on the far side. Out of bounds, Framingham ball. Excuse me. This one kicked back by Chernychev, and recovering it is Paige Hammond. Sends one upfield for Hill. And a slide tackle by Sullivan knocks it out of bounds. And they might call a foul. They might call for a free kick here. They are. They call the foul on Sullivan, and it's going to be a free kick. Who are they going to send in to kick this one? Looks like they're going to send Chernychev. This is a spot very similar to a corner kick. Chernychev kicks it in, heads wide of the net. Sorry, beg your pardon. When I said I could relate to being allergic to everything, I wasn't just saying it. This battle along the far side, knocked loose by Leshley. Freeze now trying to take it up the sideline. Spins off a defender, gets some space, sends one forward to McKenna Hammond. Hammond battles through one defender, can't battle through a second as it's knocked away. Up to Natalie Peck, stolen away by Leshley. Leshley tries to fit a pass through. Carney tries to clear it away, but taken back by Leshley. Leshley's pass knocked away by Framingham, and now Lombardo with it, running upfield. Lombardo down to the Brookline side of the field, rather. Running up the far side, sends in a crosser, deflects down, and cleared out by Kesselman. And offsides called on Framingham. One of the bigger offensive chances we've seen from Framingham thus far, as the Brookline defense has been pretty much locked down so far. Outside of one chaotic corner kick into the box, goalie Julia Cherwin hasn't really needed to do much so far, as that one lost out of bounds, Framingham ball again. Throw in. off the head of Hall. Chernychev touches it to the outside to McGee, up the line to Freeze. Freeze sends it upfield for McKenna Hammond. Hammond taking off with speed. Hammond racing up with a pass. Misses, might have been deflected by the defense, intercepted by Murphy. Murphy battles through Hill. Kicks it towards the middle, knocked away by Freeze, but knocked back the other way by the defense. Seacott's kick blocked by Leshley, out of bounds, Framingham ball. Throw in here. And Chernychev sends it back to Hall. Hall, kick up the middle. Deflects and is taken by Paige Hammond. Sends it up the line to Elin Lindgren-Palm. Lindgren-Palm pass deflects back to Kesselman. Kesselman back out to Lindgren-Palm, now to the middle. Chernychev back to Kesselman, across to Hall. Hall up to Leshley. Leshley spins, pass up, Chernychev. Chernychev's pass blocked and intercepted by Sullivan. Sullivan kicks it upfield for Peck. Peck sends a leading pass, cut off by Lindgren-Palm, knocked out of bounds. Throw in, deflects, and foul call against Framingham. And it looks like we got a timeout called, I think by Brookline actually. With the blinding sun, I'm just gonna keep my camera over here for the moment. During this timeout break, I remind you again, this broadcast brought to you in part by Esch Dental, located right in Coolidge Corner. Book your next dental appointment with local dentist and BHS Sports parent Dr. Brandon Esch for the non-corporate personalized dentistry our community deserves. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to eashdental.com. And you can find that down in the description section down below. Still 2-0 in Brookline's favor. There's been no score here in the second half. And if this timeout was indeed called by Brookline, that might be, you know, what the timeout was called for. You know, maybe head coach Ben Peters wants to see his team show a little more energy here, even though they've got the multi-goal lead. You know, not rest on their laurels of a multi-goal lead and not underestimate a lower-ranked opponent. Out of the timeout, it's going to be a free kick for Brookline. Kesselman gives it to Lindgren-Palm, and the action resumes. Or, no, it doesn't, because Framingham is only just now coming out on the field. What on earth? Why would they whistle to say get going? One of the teams ain't there. We got some more subs coming in for Brookline. Lila Cannon, Julia Vianello, Amalia Lindgren-Palm, and Jada Kimbrough. And as well as Eva Berkson, as a lot of the seniors for Brookline have now checked out. And now it's Vianello racing up that near sideline, trying to send a pass to roll through. Gets to Amalia Lindgren-Palm, deflects back out to Vianello. Vianello lifts one into the box, and it's caught by the goalie. You know, this is with these almost senior, non-senior lineups that they got running today, it's almost a chance to get a glimpse of what this team could look like next year after the class of 2025 graduates. Battling through the midfield for it. Castaneda sends it back. And now a pass up to Murphy. Murphy back to Castaneda. Her pass intercepted by Elin Lindgren-Palm. Sends it back to Kesselman. Kesselman back to Sherwin. Sherwin and Julia Sherwin and Babette Hall, the only seniors still in the game at this time. As this one is popped up in the air, Ramirez racing in for it, but sliding snag by Sherwin. Punted by Sherwin, taken by Seacott. Pass across, knocked away by McGee, but Seacott pushes it forward again. Hall sends it back to Sherwin. Sherwin back out to Hall on the far side. Hall looking, sends it up the line, out of bounds. This throw in. Couple deflections back and forth, and off the ricochet, Hall boots it away. Bounces past Callahan. Sullivan, the last line of defense, going to chase after that ball. Vianello gave chase and deflected it away. But got the favorable deflect. Okay, a bit of confusion about where the official was pointing, but it is Framingham ball. Sullivan throws it in. Lindgren-Palm taps it over to Berkson. Berkson kick to the middle to Kimbrough. Kimbrough couldn't quite corral it. It's knocked away. Paige Hammond giving chase. Sends it up the line for Cannon. Cannon, crosser into the box. Bounces past everybody. Vianello can't chase it down before it rolls out the back line. This goal kick. They're going to call Vianello for a foul there. The officials today calling it very tightly, but I think they're calling it pretty equally tightly against both teams. This free kick goes off the head of Kesselman, deflects off the foot of Steenberg. Paige Hammond trying to kick it, but off the ricochet, it's recovered by Ramirez. Ramirez up to Murphy. Murphy dribbling around with it. Now sends one forward. Off a couple bounces, it's picked up by Sherwin. Sherwin punts it towards midfield. Deflects. Murphy, pass back Sullivan. Sullivan kicks it upfield. And Kesselman kicks it out of bounds. We got a substitution coming in on Framingham's side, replacing Jazzy Castaneda. Throw in here. Bit hard for me to see along the near side, but I think you guys can at least see it. As this pass goes back to Steenberg. Steenberg, pass across, does get through to Peck. Peck's kick blocked and kicked away by McGee, but curves the opposite way from where Vianello was cutting towards, and so it's going to roll out of bounds. Throw in Sullivan. Pass goes back Murphy. Murphy across. Ramirez. Ramirez. Pass back. Bringing it up is Carney. Carney pass out for Seacott. Seacott's pass blocked by McGee. Kicked back again by Ramirez. Blocked again by McGee. They push it forward now, booted away by Hall. And Vianello boxed out by Sullivan. Callahan gives it to Sullivan. Pass gets through Vianello over to Callahan. Pass up Seacott. Seacott sliding pass up field. Intercepted by Elin Lindgren-Palm. Paige Hammond with it. Taken away by Seacott, but kicked out of bounds. Brookline ball. Kesselman, throw in, knocked out of bounds by Sullivan. Throw in, lost out of bounds, last touched by Kimbrough, Framingham ball. Sullivan throws it in. Elin Lindgren-Palm takes it. Pass back Kesselman. Cross to Hall. Hall upfield. Briefly intercepted, but then knocked away by Kimbrough. McGee takes it, sends it up the line. Misses Kimbrough out of bounds. Throw in goes off ahead. Kesselman boots it back the other way. And that's going to roll all the way down and out the back line. That's going to be a goal kick for Framingham. And in come the seniors for Brookline, as they want the seniors to be able to finish out this game on the field. I like how they've done this. I like how they've arranged kind of a senior unit and a non-senior unit, and they arrange the timeouts so the seniors will be on the floor, will be on the field at the end, on the floor. My mind drifted ahead to the winter season for a second. That foul called on Leshley. Again, a very tightly called game today in terms of fouls. As this one booted up field, off ahead, kicked up in the air by Chernychev. Off the head of Lombardo, and they call a foul on Shu. As she kind of put the arm on the shoulder there. They're going to call that. Free kick for Framingham. Bit of a no man's land free kick. I talked about it before. If it's too short a distance, it can be really hard to shoot from. They are slightly off center, but still a bit of a tough angle for a crosser. We'll see what they opt to do here as Georgia Murphy sits up to take this kick. This one flies in and over the bar. And you see that right there explains exactly what I'm talking about. If that was a free kick from a further distance and that ball has enough time to, you know, go through its curve and go into a downward trajectory, that comes in. But it's too short a distance for it to go through that trajectory. Kick upfield gets to Hammond. McKenna Hammond gets the favorable deflection off Steenberg, out of bounds, Brookline ball. Radke throws it in. Leshley looking around. and sends it up to Freeze. Freeze taps it out for Hammond. Hammond pass across, Freeze. Freeze looking, sends one forward, deflects back, and Hammond has to try and pass it back, intercepted by Murphy. Wind gusting again as this one goes upfield to Peck. Peck's kick deflects, and a hard push in the back against number 1, Hannah Greer, who's checked in. Now this attempted shot taken easily off one hop by Julia Sherwin. Nice to see Hannah Greer get some playing time here. She's not a senior, but has kind of been lost in the depth chart throughout the season. Hasn't gotten much playing time, but out on the field now along that defensive line, as this one is booted upfield by Priscilla Hill. Kicked back by Callahan. Off the deflection, it's taken by Angelina Partain. Partain pass back. Steenberg sends it near side to Sullivan. And Sullivan's kick bounces off Freeze out of bounds in our blind spot here at midfield. Throw in is taken off the deflection by Partain. Partain's pass to the middle, intercepted by Leshley. Leshley pass upfield, intercepted by Carney. Carney sprinting through, her kick blocked by Babette Hall. And that's going to roll out of bounds. This throw in. They call another foul. Free kick for the Flyers here. Flies in, has a chance, and it's in. And Sophia Carney with the free kick had just enough distance for that rainbow trajectory I had been talking about. And she ends the shutout. Brookline still ahead, but it's a 1-goal game now here late in the second half, 2-1. Hammond sends it back to Chernysheva as the action resumes. Pass up to Leshley. Leshley for Hammond, disrupted, but Hammond stays with it, kicks it up to Freeze. Freeze gives it to Leshley. Leshley for Hammond. Hammond racing, ball rolls too far, and the goalie covers it up. That's one of those where having the wind at your back can potentially be a disadvantage, as that leading pass from Leshley just a little too far. Goalie punts this one, and it is pushed forward by the Flyers. Lombardo dribbling down the far side, stops, looking, matched up with Hall. Kick blocked by Hall, out of bounds. It'll be a Framingham corner kick. And Brookline's really got to buckle down here towards the end of their senior day game. I know there's a lot of emotion and sentiment around a senior day game, but you still got to play. And Brookline has a lead to protect now as Framingham with a chance to tie here with the corner kick. Kick flies in, header out of the box. Chased down by Partain. Partain sends it up to Murphy. Murphy in the corner, lost out of bounds, goal kick. Sherwin gives it to Greer. Greer kicks it upfield, goes off the head of Sullivan. off the head of Murphy, and a battle along the near sideline, lost out of bounds. Brookline ball. Throw in goes to Freeze. Freeze sends a pass through to Chernychev. Chernychev running it across midfield, sends a pass out to the far side. This is Hill racing up with it. Hill tries to keep with the ball, but it's taken away and cleared out by the Framingham defense. Bounces all the way up to Lombardo. Lombardo bringing it up the far side across midfield. Long leading kick. It's going to be too far and roll out of bounds. Sherwin again gives it to Greer. Greer's kick deflected, but does bounce up to Freeze. Freeze to Leshley. Leshley. Pass misses everyone, taken by Carney. Carney up the far side to, I think, Peck. Now sends it back to Carney. Cross to Callahan. Callahan boots it towards the far side. Lost out of bounds. Brookline ball. Throw in up the line. Deflects forward and out of bounds. Stays Brookline ball, and a timeout is called by Brookline. So a surprisingly close game here. Brookline does lead Framingham, but just by one score late here in the second half. Oh no, that wasn't a timeout. I thought that was a timeout for some reason, but actually they were pointing that way because it was Framingham ball and not Brookline ball. That's my mistake entirely. I apologize, folks. Off several deflections. Chernychev knocked out of bounds. Now it's Brookline ball. Throw in. Deflects off ahead. Goes back to Callahan. Callahan's kick blocked by Hammond, but she recovers and now kicks it upfield. Now kicked further along the far side, intercepted by Shu. Shu sends it back to Greer. Greer kicks it up the near side to Freeze, who taps it back, intercepted by Ramirez. Lost out of bounds, last touched by Leshley. Framingham ball. Sullivan throws it in, and a handball. Brookline free kick. Leshley boots this one across the field. Goes off the head of Callahan. Freeze downs it. Freeze going baseline again. Got some space. Tries a pass. It's blocked by Callahan, but this will draw the corner kick. Probably the best offensive spark Brookline has had in the second half so far. We'll see if they can capitalize on the corner as they send Freeze to take the corner kick. And sends it flying in, headed, and it just came in low. They missed it wide, and there is the triple whistle, and that is your ball game. The final score, the Brookline High Warriors 2, the Framingham High Flyers 1. The Framingham High Flyers 1. Apologies, I don't know if something just flew in my throat or what. That was weird. So it wasn't quite the blowout that it was the last time these two teams faced off. But Brookline does still get the win. Their second win in a row. They move their record back above 500, improved to 7-6-3 on the season. Brookline scored both their goals in the first half. Both of them scored by Anna Leshley. As we take a look at the replay of the second one, Leshley now with 4 goals on the season and 28 for her career. Sydney Freeze assisting on both goals. She's now got 5 assists on the season, 13 assists for her career. Framingham answered back with an unassisted free kick goal from Sophia Carney, but it wasn't enough to get them back in it, and Brookline holds on to win. Well, that's going to do it for this game. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thanks again to Esh Dental for sponsoring this broadcast. Esh Dental, located right in Coolidge Corner. Book your next dental appointment with local dentist and BHS sports parent Dr. Brandon Esh for the non-corporate personalized dentistry our community deserves. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eshdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to eashdental.com. And as always, you can find that information in the description section down below. And before I go into the other links and wrap up this broadcast, just want to say a few words about the senior class of 2025 and just what a special class it's been to cover for me personally. I've been covering high school sports in one capacity or another for almost 9 years now, starting back when I first took a sports reporter job for a local newspaper out in western Kentucky. You know, I've hopped between jobs, you know, that have had different circumstances here and there with COVID and all that. And through it all, this senior class is the first senior class that I have covered all 4 years of their high school career. And so it means a lot to me to be able to be here at their senior day game. You know, here as the end of their very storied careers has been such a strong group. 2 trips to the Elite 8, 1 trip to the Final Four. Several players going off to play in college next year. And, like I said, just personally, the first group I've, had the privilege to cover from freshmen to seniors. And so I'd like to just say some words about them individually before we go. Starting off, we'll start off with number 4, Ashley Cherwin. Cherwin, a 2-year member of the varsity team. Last year, she suffered a season-ending injury before the season began, which robbed her of her first varsity season on the field. But, she took on kind of a team manager role, didn't shy away from being a part of the team, just because she wasn't able to step out onto the pitch herself. And I got a heck of a lot of respect for that, especially being an introverted person myself. I respect someone who, even though they're not getting the joy of going out on the field and playing, still wanting to be a part of the group, be a part of the team, like she did. And even though, she hasn't gotten that many minutes this year as a backup midi, she's shown her skills from time to time. Displayed her skills for the JV team before she joined varsity. She's got a lot to be proud of with this career. Congrats to Ashley Cherwin. And next up, let's talk about number 17, Greta Radke. Another 2-year member of the varsity team. Greta, like Ashley, one that kind of got lost in the depth chart of a very talented Brookline High girls soccer program, but Greta has shown she's got the ability to handle that wing back position. When the team plays those 4-back formations, they really like using Radke, even if it's just as a backup spot, as one of those backup wings. She's got strong defensive instincts. On her career, she's got 2 assists, got her first career assist in last year's playoffs during that 10-0 blowout win over Chelmsford in the round of 32. Got another assist this year. And so she's got 2 assists on her career, 1 this season. And, you know, hats off to Greta Radke for a nice career. Next up, another 2-year varsity member, Babette Hall. The next 2 players I'm going to talk about, Babette Hall and Julia Cherwin, both 2-year varsity players, and both came in just absolute fire cooker situations as they were taking over for some very talented defensive anchors for the team. Babette Hall taking that center back position that was previously taken by Cecilia Wager, who was a Bay State Conference All-Star in her senior year, and Julia Cherwin succeeding Talia Thompson in net. Thompson herself succeeding Juliana Anastopoulos. Both Anastopoulos and Thompson went on to continue their goalkeeping careers at the collegiate level. And meanwhile, Cherwin, as I mentioned during the game, wasn't a goalie either her freshman or sophomore seasons. She took up the position the summer before her junior season, and yet Hall and Cherwin have both stepped up in such a big way and really made those center back and goalie positions their own. I wanted to mention them together because their situation's so similar in the, you know, pressure cooker situation that they came in, replacing some very talented veteran leaders and college level talents on some very crucial defensive positions. And yet, despite them being put in such key defensive spots in their first varsity seasons, you know, they took that pressure in stride and have become anchor players themselves over these past 2 seasons. Babette Hall with 1 career assist. She got an assist last season. Cherwin, obviously, no goals or assists as she played in the net. But hats off to both Babette and Julia for some great careers. Next up, our lone 3-year varsity player, and that's number 11, Nora Shu. Nora Shu has been playing that wing-back position as well. Wing-back or wing-midi, depending on what kind of formation Brookline played, like when they played 3 backs and 4 middies 2 years ago, Shu played more of a midfield position, whereas when they switched to a 4-back and 3 midi formation, she played as a wing-back. But really, she made, you know, Brookline's had a number of very skilled wing players, so it can be easy for any one individual player to get lost in that. But Nora Shu has made her presence felt in that position over the past 3 years. She got her first career assist in her first varsity season as a sophomore, getting an assist in a blowout win against Milton, assisting a goal scored by Mirabelle Kesselman. And then she's had 2 assists this season to add to her career marks, 3 career assists, 2 on the season. Hats off to Nora Shu for a great soccer career as the only one who's played 3 years of varsity. And now we come, or no, I stand corrected. I'm correcting myself because I'm an idiot, because the first of our co-captains that we're going to mention is a 3-year varsity player as well, and that's McKenna Hammond. McKenna Hammond has really, really grown her offensive game over the years. Her first year as a sophomore, her first year on varsity, she was a backup forward, playing that center forward spot, playing behind Gianna Pentland, another player who has gone on to play at the collegiate level. To just give you a sense of just how strong and deep this soccer program is, to really emphasize the abilities of these current seniors to break through and find their spot on the team. Hammond played as a backup her first year, a backup striker, as we're temporarily cutting out, but we're reconnecting pretty fast, looks like. That's good. So McKenna Hammond came on her sophomore year as a member of the varsity team, played as sort of that depth position along the offense, still made her presence known with some goals in that first season, but really took off as a junior, as a starting striker, you know, and really made that center forward position her own as the team, you know, really stuck with that 3 forward formation. And this year, Brookline's kind of shuffled their formations around, sometimes gone 2 strikers, sometimes gone 3. And McKenna Hammond has taken all those changes in stride. And again, really, she's found ways to contribute throughout the seasons, no matter what kind of a position she was in. She's got 5 goals this season, 17 goals and 4 assists through her career so far. A very successful career. Hats off to the first of the 4 co-captains, McKenna Hammond, for a great high school career. Next up, we go to our 3 4-year varsity players, all 3 of them co-captains. We'll start with number 23, Velena Chernichev. Velena Chernichev started out as a backup midi her freshman season, but played that depth role well. Got, as I mentioned before, as a fun fact, got her first career goal in that year's senior day game, but ended up getting vaulted into a starting midfield role during the playoffs when then senior midi Ansley Washburn went down with a season-ending injury, and Chernichev actually got an assist on one of the team's goals in their upset win in the round of 16 over 4th-seeded Franklin High School. So Chernichev really stepped up quick once she got that starting spot, and she really, just took off from there. Sophomore season evolved in not just took on a bigger role as a starting midi, but really evolved her abilities to cut off ball as a forward midi, an offensive midi, complemented then senior Sari Frankel very well in the midfield, and Chernichev actually ended up leading Brookline in goals scored as a sophomore with 6 goals in the regular season. And that's kind of the theme for Chernichev, is she took on kind of a different role every season, because as a junior, she then evolved her abilities as a distributor as she was moved to sort of the middle to back midfield spot that Frankel had previously taken. And Chernichev thus became more of a distributor, ended up tying for the team lead in assists 1 year after leading the team in goals, to just show the kind of diversity that she has. And I think she had like 5 goals and 5 assists last year. So far this season, 3 goals and 2 assists, 16 goals and 11 assists for her career thus far. Tremendously talented player. Even though she stayed in the same position, like McKenna Hammond, within that same position, she found different ways to showcase her skills and to grow her game as her career went on. Hats off to a great career to Velena Chernichev. Next up, I'm going to talk about number 26, Sydney Freeze, who got the 2 assists today and has been a 4-year starter for this Brookline High girls soccer team, and has displayed that versatility at another level. Her first 2 years on this Brookline team, she played as a defender on that back line, was a great center back alongside Cecilia Wager as a freshman. Came up with a number of clutch defensive plays. Her second year, when they switched from a 4-back to a 3-back formation, she took it in stride, continued to be a foundational defensive piece that sophomore season. Then as a junior, they moved her to forward, put her on offense, and she showed that she could excel as an offensive piece as well. Scored 10 goals her first season as an offensive player, including that iconic game-winning goal in overtime in the Elite Eight at Wellesley to vault this Brookline team to a Final Four appearance. And then this year, they've kind of switched her back and forth between forward and defense, depending on what they were trying to do. And again, she has excelled in both roles tremendously. 7 goals and 5 assists so far this season, including the 2 assists today. 17 goals and 13 assists for her career so far. Hats off to Sydney Freeze. And then we wrap it up talking about our 4th co-captain and 2nd 4-year varsity starter, number 18, Anna Leshley. And I talked about the versatility of Sydney Freeze. The versatility of Anna Leshley has been incredible to witness over these 4 years. Leshley started out as a midfielder in her varsity debut her freshman year, but was quickly moved to the striker position when they realized what a prolific goal scorer she could be. Actually led the team in goals as a freshman with 6 regular season goals, also had 1 postseason goal. But then as a sophomore, she was actually moved to the back line to defense because they knew they were going to be switching from a 4-back to a 3-back formation, and they wanted Anna Leshley to be in that spot that they were going to be thinnest. So they put her on defense. She was great back there, still found ways to contribute offensively with those header goals and with some nice assists, had 4 goals and 4 assists during the regular season of her sophomore year. Then as a junior, when they switched back to a 4-back formation and switched from 4 middies to 3 middies, where did they put Anna? Where they were going to be thinnest. They put her at midfield, and she continued to excel, continued to play such a huge role on the team. And this year they've played her all, so many different spots. They played her at midi, they've played her at back, they played her at striker. Wherever they've needed her, she's been there. Her versatility and talent as a player really cannot be understated. 4 goals and 4 assists this season, including the 2 goals today. 28 goals and 15 assists for her career so far. Dartmouth's getting a heck of a player next year in Anna Leshley. Hats off to her for a great career. So I know that was really long, and I don't think anybody's really watching, but I mostly did that. I did that for myself. So now we're going to wrap up this broadcast. One last hats off to the class of 2025. Check out some of the helpful links in the description section down below. The Friends of BHS, mentioned Esh Dental before, our sponsor. Friends of BHS Soccer, the Booster Club, Brookline Community Foundation, the local sponsor. Not the local sponsor, the local charity spotlight. And, of course, the links relate to me, personal website, jessesports.com, my email if you want to contact me directly, my social media on Instagram and Facebook where I post highlights. I know Wi-Fi wasn't good today. I'll post the recording later tonight. Final score, Brookline 2, Framingham 1 from Skyline Park. Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.